How's it going, everyone? Venomous Stare back with another StarCraft video, and today we're going to be taking a look at something pretty controversial. This was a recent match played at a LAN called WESG, which is held in China, and this is one of those nationalistic tournaments similar to the old school WCG tournaments, where players were basically region locked into playing against other players from their own country, and then they all go to the event to represent their country. So representing China down here in the bottom right is MacSed, a high-ranking Protoss player who's been in the scene for many years. And his opponent is a guy named 70, who you've probably never heard of, and there's a good reason for that. That's because 70 is a Diamond 2 Protoss. He has a lower ladder rank than I do, which I've played pro gamers, and it's absolutely insane what they can do to you. It's like playing a completely different game. But this guy, 70, he's like not even 4K MMR, so this should just be an absolute raffle stomp. And the genesis of these accusations have a lot to do with the betting lines, and how close the betting line was initially, and then how much the betting line moved. The link to this Reddit post detailing why these matches are believed to be fixed will be in the description. But I'm going to talk about the game. So MacSed is opening for a cannon rush, and 70 has made a gateway in his main and then gone for proxy gates across the map. Now, he made a gate in his main to try to disguise the fact that he was proxy gating, because as any Protoss player knows, if you arrive to someone's base and they don't have anything, you know you're being proxied. So MacSed is going to go for a bit of a cannon rush here. And he has plenty of money to push the cannons forward. 70 is going to try to fend off the cannons. This is normal behavior. So let me just point something out here right out the gate. The fact that both of the probes across the map died is really fishy, because whenever you're doing a cannon rush like this and you already have a cannon on the low ground, you can run your probe around in range of the cannon and the zealot can't catch it. Another thing that's important to note, whenever you're facing proxy gate with the forge opener, you can just hard wall yourself in, and it's basically an auto loss for the player who did proxy gates. So here the first zealot moves across the map, and this is very curious. So if you don't know, in StarCraft, whenever you build buildings, the more HP a building has, the quicker it gains HP while building. This is important because a gateway has way more health than a cannon. So if there's one zealot at your door, you can just build a gateway, and the zealot won't be able to DPS it down. So to make this cannon here is a little bit bizarre, because what you can do is make a gate, and then you won't die to the zealots no matter what, and then you can just make a cannon behind and you'll be completely fine. It's also worth remembering that, yeah, MacSed lost both of those probes for no reason. Now, if the zealot had arrived 5 seconds earlier and was attacking his front door, one could make the argument that he was just distracted and was like, oh shit, there's a zealot, and wasn't watching his probes across the map. Now, the fact that he lost both probes, both of his cannon rushing probes, to me is a pretty big tell, because my 2v2 partner and cousin Spencer does cannon rushes all the time, and he's like the same rank as 70. He's like mid diamond, right? Maybe even low diamond. And that I've never seen that motherfucker lose both of his probes once he already has the cannon up. Okay? It's just not something that happens. Certainly not to a pro gamer who is considered one of the best in his scene and won his ladder qualifier to represent his country. So the cannon will die. So right here, it's really easy to run your probe around, make the gate, wall yourself in, and just mitigate the damage. Only one zealot's in your base, you'll be completely fine. And I normally don't stop commentaries this much, but we are trying to take an intellectually honest look at a match fix. So I'm going to have to pause and really get into analyzing. So he could just walk that probe back and hard wall in. Okay, and then, okay, to me, this is just so damning. He makes another cannon. Another cannon. He just saw one zealot kill his one cannon. He's not an idiot. He knows that a zealot can out DPS a cannon, and if he didn't know, he just saw it happen, okay? And more importantly, he didn't wall himself in after the initial cannon died. He knew it was Proxy Gate. There is no other solution. He's been in the guy's base since the beginning of the game. If a zealot snuck out of the main, he would have seen it, okay? So he knows it's Proxy Gates. Any idiot knows that you hardwall in versus Proxy Gates, at least in situations like this. And he makes another cannon. So at this point, he sort of pretends like, oh, I'm going to surround these 3 zealots that are in my base for no reason. And obviously, it's, well, 3 zealots, 2 zealots, what does it matter, okay? There's the 3rd, and I'm not talking Excal. But at this point, the game's over, and he makes another cannon. He makes another fucking cannon. Why? Everyone knows that's not going to work. You make a gate in that exact spot, and you make a cannon behind it, and you never die to this. So 70 takes an undeserved win, and if you're not aware, the crux of the issue is, if Max said 2 O's, that fulfills a certain bet. Like, people will bet on MacSed 2-0ing, not just MacSed winning. So MacSed can throw a game like this and then beat the mid-diamond guy in the next game and still get a match win. But it would severely affect the gambling. So my judgment of this is that it's a pretty, honestly, I believe that it's a match fix. Because no 6K MMR Protoss is going to make those mistakes consistently. Now you might say, well, the cannon at the top of the ramp is sort of believable. Not the second one. When you know, like, once the zealot breaks the first cannon, building the second cannon there, to me, is just the ultimate admission of guilt. Tell me what you think in the description. Was it a match fix? Was it not? Sub for more.